Everybody moving to Tennessee asks the same question. Josh, where should I actually live? And honestly, most people start in the wrong place. They think Nashville is the answer, but Middle Tennessee is way bigger than just downtown Nashville. And depending on your lifestyle, budget, commute, family situation, and goals, there are a lot of places that may fit you way better. Some of these areas are luxury lifestyle plays. Some are value plays, some are hidden gems, and a couple of them, honestly, could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars while still giving you a great quality of life. So in this video, I'm ranking the best places to live in Middle Tennessee from best to worst based on what actually matters in real life. Schools, commute, lifestyle, home values, appreciation potential, community feel, and what you actually get for your money. And I'm gonna give you the honest truth on all of them, not the sugar-coated realtor version. Because some cities are incredible for the right buyer and terrible for the wrong buyer. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're probably gonna know exactly where you should be looking. Before we jump into the rankings, let me explain why so many people are flooding into Middle Tennessee in the first place. I've been selling real estate here for over 20 years. My family's been in Nashville for over 200 years. I've helped people relocate here from California, Texas, New York, Illinois, Florida, and other places all over the country. And almost every single person tells me the same thing after they move here. Man, I wish we would have done this sooner. Now, obviously prices have gone up. Nashville's not the secret it used to be, but compared to a lot of major metro areas, people still feel like they get way more house, more land, and more lifestyle here than they do in places like California, Chicago, New York, or South Florida. You've got no state income tax, a strong job market, healthcare, tech, finance, entertainment, tons of new development, great restaurants, lakes, greenways, outdoor lifestyle, and overall just a really great quality of life. And here's the other thing people underestimate. Middle Tennessee is not one market. Franklin feels different than Mount Juliet. Mount Juliet feels different than Hendersonville. So today I'm ranking these places based on what I see every single day helping real buyers relocate here. Let's get into it. If money was not part of the conversation for most people, Franklin would probably be the #1 answer. And honestly, for a lot of buyers, it still is. Franklin has something most suburbs do not have. It has soul. You've got a real downtown, walkable Main Street, restaurants, coffee shops, boutique shopping, events, history, character, community. It doesn't feel like a random suburb that got thrown together in the last 20 years. It feels established. It feels intentional. And when I take relocation buyers down there for the first time, especially people coming from larger cities, something changes. They can picture life there. Now, yes, Franklin is expensive. Median pricing is pushing into that $800,000+ range, depending on what part of Franklin you're talking about. And luxury pricing gets very serious very quickly. But you're paying for Williamson County schools, long-term appreciation, safety, community, walkability, and overall lifestyle quality. And here's the honest truth. Franklin's not for everybody. If you're a first-time buyer or trying to stay under a certain monthly payment, Franklin can get tough fast. And inventory at the higher end has slowed down a little compared to the insanity of 21 and 22, which honestly, I think is healthy. Buyers actually have a little room to breathe again, but overall, Franklin's still probably the best total package in Middle Tennessee. Now, Brentwood's different. Franklin has charm and personality. Brentwood is polished. This is executive housing, luxury neighborhoods, tree-lined streets, big lots, incredible schools, country clubs, beautiful homes. Some of the nicest real estate in the entire state's in Brentwood. And the schools are a huge reason people move there. If schools are your absolute #1 priority and you're in the financial position to do it, Brentwood is really hard to beat. But there's no real downtown Brentwood vibe the way Franklin has. Brentwood is more residential, more refined, more private, and honestly, some people love that. You're also right off of 65, which makes access into Nashville easier than a lot of people think, depending on traffic. Now, the downside's obvious. Pricing. You're talking serious money in Brentwood. A lot of homes are well over $1 million now, and luxury inventory can move quick when the right property hits. My personal opinion, if I had to pick one for overall lifestyle, I'd probably still lean toward Franklin because I love the energy and character. But if schools, privacy, luxury housing, and stability are your top priorities, Brentwood absolutely delivers. Now this is where I think a lot of buyers end up landing, because these cities give people something Franklin and Brentwood cannot do anymore. A strong quality of life at a more approachable price point. Guys, Mount Juliet is having a moment, and honestly, I understand why. It's in Williamson County, east of Nashville, and it gives buyers a really strong mix of good schools, newer housing, retail, accessibility, and value compared to Williamson County. Providence Marketplace changed everything out there. You've got shopping, restaurants, grocery stores, convenience, and easy access to I-40. You can get downtown reasonably quickly depending on traffic, and Percy Priest Lake being nearby is a huge lifestyle bonus. Now the downside, growth. Mount Juliet grew fast, and infrastructure has not always kept up with the pace of growth. So certain traffic corridors absolutely get backed up during peak hours. And if you commute every day, do your homework on your route before buying a house. But overall, Mount Juliet checks a lot of boxes for families. Hendersonville is one of the most underrated lifestyle plays in Middle Tennessee. You're on Old Hickory Lake. You've got restaurants, marinas, community feel, more established neighborhoods, and honestly, a little more breathing room than some parts of Nashville. A lot of buyers love Hendersonville because it feels more relaxed. And compared to Williamson County pricing, the value can still make a ton of sense. Schools in Sumner County have improved significantly over the years, and the restaurant and retail scene keeps getting better. The big thing with Hendersonville is lifestyle. If you like boating, lake access, community events, and a more laid-back suburban environment, while still being relatively close to Nashville, Hendersonville is absolutely worth looking at. Spring Hill has exploded, and if you've looked online at all, you already know that. You're getting new construction, bigger homes, larger lots, and more affordability compared to Franklin. Now, part of Spring Hill is Williamson County and parts Murray County, and that matters depending on schools and taxes. But the biggest thing buyers need to understand is the commute. Spring Hill to Nashville during rush hour can absolutely wear you out if you do it every single day. If you work remotely, hybrid, go in occasionally, Spring Hill can be an incredible value. But if you're driving in Nashville 5 days a week, you need to really think through what that daily drive looks like from a long-term perspective. Now look, at this point in the video, some of you are probably thinking, Josh, these prices are still really high. And honestly, fair. But this is why understanding Middle Tennessee matters so much, because there are still places where buyers can get into the market without spending Franklin or Brentwood money. And before we get into those, quick favor. If you're relocating to Nashville or Middle Tennessee, make sure you grab our free relocation guide below. We put a ton of work into it. Schools, neighborhood breakdowns, commute maps, pricing, areas to avoid, lifestyle differences. It'll save you a ton of time and probably a lot of money too. Now let's keep going. Murfreesboro gets overlooked way too often. And I think part of the reason is because people hear college town and automatically dismiss it. That's a mistake. Murfreesboro is a real city. It has infrastructure, healthcare, restaurants, retail, parks, greenways, jobs, activities. And for buyers who want square footage and value, Murfreesboro can make a ton of sense. You're generally getting more home for your money than Williamson County while still having access to Nashville when needed. Traffic on 24, that's real. Anybody telling you otherwise is lying. The commute can absolutely get rough during peak hours. But if budget matters and you still want a strong overall city feel with amenities, Murfreesboro is probably one of the best value plays in all of Middle Tennessee. Lebanon is interesting. And honestly, I think Lebanon is going to look very different 5 years from now than it does today. You're in Williamson County. You've got access to 40, a growing downtown square, more development, pricing that still makes more sense than Mount Juliet for a lot of buyers. And this is what I call smart money market, especially for buyers who want to get into Williamson County but can't justify Mount Juliet pricing. Lebanon still feels early in the growth cycle compared to some other suburbs, and I think long term that matters. Gallatin is probably the sleeper pick on the entire list, especially for buyers who want more space, water access, a quieter lifestyle, and a little bit more affordability. You're on Old Hickory Lake. There's still some small town character there. Sumner County continues investing heavily into schools and infrastructure. And compared to some of the more talked about suburbs, Gallatin still flies under the radar a little bit. I think a lot more people are going to discover Gallatin over the next several years. Clarksville ranks really high nationally on affordability and buyer opportunity lists. And the reason's simple. You can still buy a house there at pricing that feels impossible in a lot of the Nashville suburbs. Fort Campbell drives a huge part of the economy there. The rental market stays strong because of the military presence. Austin Peay gives it some college town energy, and honestly, Clarksville has improved a lot. Downtown's improving, retail's improving, development's getting better, and here's the honest truth I tell everybody. That Nashville commute is real. If you work in Nashville every single day, that drive can absolutely become exhausting over time. Now, if you work remotely or you work closer to Clarksville, you're military, or you're only occasionally going into Nashville, Clarksville can be a home run financially. But if you're driving into downtown every single morning, you need to fully understand what you're signing up for. Because saving money on a house means less if you lose 2 hours a day sitting in traffic. All right, let me simplify this for you. If you want the best overall lifestyle package and can afford it, Franklin, hands down. If schools and luxury are absolute priority, Brentwood, Tennessee. If you want balance and strong suburban value, Mount Juliet or Hendersonville. If you want newer construction and more space, go with Spring Hill. If you want the strongest pure value, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you want the smart long-term growth play, Lebanon. And if you want the lake town sleeper pick, Gallatin all day. And if affordability is the main goal and you understand the commute, Clarksville. But the biggest thing I want you to understand is this. Middle Tennessee is not one size fits all. The best city depends on your life, your budget, your family, your commute, your lifestyle, your priorities. That's why people moving here need somebody who actually knows these markets at a really deep level, not just somebody reading zip code stats off of Zillow. So if you're thinking about moving to Nashville or anywhere in Middle Tennessee, reach out to us. My team and I help people relocate here every single week, and we'll help you figure out not just what house to buy, but where you should actually live. Call us, text us, email us, carrier pigeon, doesn't matter. All of our contact information is below. And if this video helped you at all, do me a favor. Hit subscribe, drop a comment, and tell me which city surprised you the most on this list. And I'll see you in the next video.